progress. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're still the what is it called? The smoking man there with the you're in the darkness. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's this hidden light next to you.
Huh. It's actually a really cool lamp my stepfather made. It's made out of a trumpet. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, that is cool. Wow. Very creative.
Yeah. And on the other side, I've got Christmas lights up.
Good. They never get old. There's something about Christmas lights. I mean,
Last year I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to leave it. Like, they make me feel good. Why not just leave them up?
Exactly. No, I think it's good. Color and light, I mean, I think in general are positive. I like colorful things. I'm one of those kind of guys. I can appreciate the whole black and white and gothic kind of serious thing too. But I do probably prefer color and really rich colors. I love, colors with luminosity.
I like colors I can taste. Like
that's, yes. And there are some people that can taste colors in this world and can see sounds. That's actually a psychological, I don't want to say aberration, but a psychological thing. I don't even want to say disorder, but
manifestation.
Although some people do this when they have accidents, right? If you have like a car accident with a head injury, I think it's called synesthesia. It's where your senses get crossed. So you have people that have had like injuries or been in a car accident, for example, and have a head injury, and after that, whenever they listen to music, they see things with the sound, or when they see things, they could hear sounds. When looking at a piece of art, or smell could have a color. Very interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. So what's that name?
Dude,
so I'm recording just in case this turns into a show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured that's how you wanted to do Zoom, yeah.
Yeah. Because, I don't like scheduling the show too heavy. I'm all for like constantly canceling with people. Like I've told a bunch of different people I'd love to do a show with you, and it's like I've got a lineup of people that I could talk to, but it's about coordinating the time. And so what I've been finding is that sometimes it's easier to just go in a sort of organic way. And I'm often a last minute guy especially when it comes to like personal stuff. If it's not work, I can't decide. I can't make plans until like the night before or whatever, and depending on how everything's going. And so I've been telling people, just tell me like the night before, if like you're feeling like tomorrow morning you can do it, just let me know. And if I can do it, then we got something, rather than say, we're going to do it Friday at 7, on Monday. And you don't know where you're going to be by Friday. You might not be ready for that on Friday for whatever reason.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy patterns and like having a set thing to do and everything. But in certain aspects of my life, I think it makes it more interesting if I wait till the last minute to, actually pull the trigger or make a decision, like it's a way of spicing it up, if you will, like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like now we decided to chat, but it was just spur of the moment. It wasn't because we had made a program to do that. But you were just in the mood to chat. And I was free. Just got back from the grocery store.
How'd that go?
So it went good. I got a mask now. My wife, where she works, somebody made some masks and gave it to her. So I got a nice like homemade cloth mask, which is kind of cool. So it makes me feel more comfortable. I haven't been going out that much to stores anymore in the last like week or so.
What about gloves? Did you wear gloves?
I wore gloves too. I got these plastic black gloves that I wear. And I got a little COVID mask thingy. And went to Wegmans, one of my favorite grocery stores. I love Wegmans. Because
that's where we shop, yeah.
Quality, right? It's quality, and they've got a good variety. A lot of stuff I like. It has a good vibe when you walk in. The lighting's good. There's a social atmosphere. They have a coffee place where I can get a double espresso when I come in. It's just fun, I mean, I get off on the little things these days. I don't need a hell of a lot.
Hey, hold on.
What's that?
I hit something.
You can't see me now?
Nah, no, I can't.
Maybe that's better for you. I'm kind of freaky looking, so
Different.
Yeah. By the way, a different look, right?
Yeah, me too. If you notice,
I noticed.
Yeah.
So you're going in reverse of me. you're growing yours out a little bit, and I took mine way down. Although I say every time I cut my beard, I always immediately miss it.
It's like a comfort blanket, right? You can sit there and stroke it. And
Yes, it's a comfort blanket, but it's I think it's more than that too. Like I always feel like a loss of vitality when I shave, and a little more insecure. And so having a beard, I feel like gives me confidence and some sense of strength. There's also some mystical, Hasidic Jewish Kabbalistic interpretations of the beard, which I think are interesting. And since I have so much respect for the Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism in general, I take it seriously when they say something, even if it's kind of crazy. But they talk about the beard as being like kind of tubules, like, they're small, microscopic tubules, but they're like tubes that can channel thoughts from the subconscious.
wow.
And so because men don't have as good of a connection to their subconscious as women do, women are naturally in touch with their subconscious a little more naturally than men. Men need the beard. That's why God gave us a beard, so that we can be in touch with all those subconscious workings and those thoughts and process that stuff. So even like touching your beard while you're thinking, I think is more than just a random thing. I think that there's a reason why we're drawn to do that. We are processing, and we're working with subconscious, subtle ideas and thoughts that are moving through our minds. Anyway, that's a kind of a wild interpretation of having a beard, and I know a lot of people wouldn't believe that. But like I said, because it's coming from a tradition that I respect, I take it more seriously, and I feel that way.
So if you perceive it, it's your reality.
That's it. Perceptions create reality. I mean, you're perceiving that we're on this show right now. So that's all that really matters. Even if you're not on the show in some other dimension, like you're totally fooled by this world of reality, and it's a complete illusion, like they say in India, Maya or whatever. It doesn't stop it from seeming real to you, and you having a seemingly real experience.
Well, that's why when sometimes when people get into the maybe we're or that table you're looking at isn't really there, it's just all these molecules and whatnot, but it is, because I'm perceiving it as it is, and I'm putting my hand on it. So that to me is, I like to think about the possibility that like you do when you're a kid, like, we're just like, an experiment on, the ass of a dog walking in some other dimension, or, like there could be so many different possibilities and everything. And sometimes I get to the point where I'm like, but what does it matter? That's the same thing with like aliens being here and walking among us and stuff. Like, I honestly believe it because I saw some shit, dude, when I was like, I don't know, it was like, 23 or something like that. I just moved out of Chicago, out of a bad situation. I finished college there and everything, and then got in with this girl, and she cheated on me, and I just packed up my car, and I was like, fuck you, I'm out. I went to this resort town in Saugatuck, which is said to have all these spooky, like, ghostly stories and just weird energy and stuff all over. And it's a really cool resort town, actually. It's mostly gay. Like, it was known for being super gay, which means, like, the streets are all nice and the shops are nice. And
good coffee everywhere.
Yeah, it was really great.
Bars and dance clubs, I understand.
But, dude, I was laying with my girlfriend, and she was out. And I'm sitting there, and I look into this closet, and I see this, like, figure, and it's, like, kind of a bluish green, just kind of moving. And then it started taking some sort of shape. And I'm shitting my pants, right? Because I'm not fucked up. I'm not tripping. No. I'm not anything. I'm just like,
straight, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on
this was at the daytime or evening?
No, this was at night.
Okay.
And I was like, what do you want? What? And, I'm looking everywhere for, like, like a projector or, like anything,
Wow.
But then check this, dude. Then all of a sudden, it like kind of forms into a woman and just a silhouette, though, right? There's no features or anything like that.
I hope this isn't going to lead into you telling me that's how you met your wife.
No. The girl on the bed was just the girl on the bed. But so
those things forming in the closet, becoming a woman.
Right, and it gestures towards the, like, my girlfriend had a baby, like a toddler, right? Like 1 years old or 2, I don't know. And then I hear a thump, and I was like looking like, I gotta go check that out, but I don't want to stop looking at this thing.
Right.
I run over there, and the baby had fallen out of its crib. I pick it up, put it back in the crib, and I go back, and the image is gone.
Wow.
And man, I spent years trying to interpret, like, what in the fuck? Like, was this?
What was that?
Yeah. And was it trying to tell me, hey, are you ready to take care of this responsibility with this girl? And I obviously wasn't, man.
Yeah. I've never had a sort of alien or UFO experience.
Or spirit. I don't know what the hell it was.
No, I did once. Okay, once maybe. Yeah, there was one time I was camping in the woods. This was probably, it's probably, excuse my French there, probably like 15 years ago or something. And I remember being in the parking lot at night and looking up at the sky over the trees, and we saw something that looked to us, I mean, it was like a light, but it looked to us like a UFO at that time. But that was the only thing I ever experienced. But my mom, on the other hand, has had a direct experience or encounter with a UFO very front and center, oddly. And she's told me the story many times. But I think I was staying with my dad, I think, over the summer because they were divorced while this happened. She was with her boyfriend, and they had gone, just, it was a normal night. I think it was like, maybe around sunset time, starting to get towards sundown. And they went to get some milk from the local store. Her and her boyfriend, they drove their car. And when they were at a light, literally in a kind of a common area, it was not even like totally remote. I mean, this was in Syracuse, New York. That's where I spent some of my childhood. I was born there. So they were at the light, and all of a sudden they looked up, and there was this round saucer, like literally just above the street lights. I mean, like right there, hovering over the ground, on top of them. Huge, right?
Like Independence Day shit.
And it's the typical description. I asked her, well, what did it look like? She's like, well, it was round, and it had these amazing multicolored lights going around it. And I was amazed at how beautiful the colors were of the lights going around it. And she said, she just looked to her boyfriend and was like, oh my God, are you seeing this? And he was saying the same thing. He's like, yes, are you? Oh my God. And they were just like astonished. And she said they looked at it for like maybe 30, 40 seconds, just sat there. And they were just like, oh my God, just couldn't believe it, right? It's like unreal. And then as soon as it was there, boom, it disappeared. It was like just gone. You know how they just like leave at like, a speed we can't even comprehend? Something like that. Like it was just like boom there, and then boom out of there. And afterwards, she said they went on the street. They were driving in their car, and they were stopping people around that area and asking, "Hey, did you see anything in the sky? Did you see those lights?" And people would just look at them like, "No." And so they stopped. They asked a couple people like that. And they were like, "Yeah, let's not ask people. They're going to think we're crazy or something or weird." So anyway, that ex-boyfriend of hers, never forgets this story either. And even to this day, when they rarely see each other or talk, they always are like, remember that time we saw that UFO? That was so crazy. And the other thing she said about it is that there was some time loss during that period. So at the time, they went to the store, and then later by the time they came home, it was like hours later. It didn't make any sense. So she, maybe thinks who knows? They could have taken her. I mean, there's stories like that all over, but she has no recollection of that. She just knows there was a time gap, a major one, and it was just something she'll never forget.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. So,
but
yeah.
then again, knowing that, unless that whatever I saw came back and visited me again and gave me some superpowers or insight or something,
right.
What is it really? I mean, I don't understand how I fit into it other than being an experiment of some sort, you know, like, you know.
Who knows, man? There's so many possibilities. I mean, the imagination can go wild. And there's you know, there's all kinds of conspiracy theories out there, and theories, alternative theories of reality in the universe. I mean, it's all areas to explore. And so what does this have to do with masonry? I wonder, how can we connect this to masonry somehow? There's the challenge.
Well, for me, it's the curiosity aspect, you know, like the thing that keeps us seeking light, you know, because we're, you know, we're those type of people that have to know, you know, like, and we're trying to find the way to get there and to help others, you know, like
Right
there as well.
Right. I think Manly Hall said it, you know, maybe once or more than once in different ways, that there are like two lines. There are basically two types of people in the world, right? And of course, there's gray. There's, you know, in betweens. But if you look at it as a dichotomy, there's kind of two types of people in the world: the thoughtful and the less thoughtful. There are some people that reflect a lot, have a lot of questions, deeper questions. Why am I here? What's going on? You know, they're always thinking about things at another level. And there are people that are not really doing that. They're not obsessively thinking about philosophical issues.
And they're usually happier.
And they're a lot happier. They're a lot happier. They have a simple life, and they you know, they have the car and the dog, and everything's going well, and you know, they made their money, and they're healthy, normal, happy people, and they do good. It's not like they're bad or anything because they don't think like this. It's just not the type of person they are. They're not obsessively thinking about the grand questions of the universe. They're not overly analytical. They don't overanalyze everything. They don't think about it on multiple levels. And then there are those people that are drawn to that. And in fact, in modern psychology, they have a term for this, and there's a measurement. And I was actually really interested in it for a while. NFC, let's see, need for, it's something like need for reflection, need for cognition, NFC. It's a capital N, small f, and a capital C. You can look it up on Google.
Yeah, I'm Googling it right now.
It stands for need for cognition. And this is an area that I actually am interested in researching, because what I'd like to learn is, you know, could there be techniques through memes propagated through the internet that can raise the global need for cognition? Because I'm of the ilk to believe that more thinking is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And I think people need to be a little more reflective in this world. And I think that could help bring peace and a lot of good things into this world. So anything I can do to kind of up the level of, so to speak, consciousness, or, you know, at least the analytical skills of the general citizen, I think would be a good thing. I mean, that's something I personally believe in. So NFC is a measurement for how much people want to think deeply, or how attracted people are to complex problems. Some people are very averse to this kind of stuff. It annoys them when you ask them too many questions, or like, why are you saying that? Or, God, just leave me alone. You know, they don't want to deal with it. They're like you said, they're a lot happier because of that, probably, because they're not obsessed and thinking all the time. Because, you know, deep thought could lead to depression. It could lead to schizophrenia. It could lead to sleepless nights. It could lead to anxiety. You know, it's not necessarily the most pleasant thing. It's like you're putting yourself through the fire. But it does catalyze your evolution, I think, spiritually.
And possibly it's genetic, you know, like perhaps it's by design to have a certain type of person that does this, thinks this, helps push in this way, whereas the other group or subcategory, whatever, is like they're the builders or the, you know, the bank tellers or whatever, you know.
Right. No, I think it is by design. I think everything is, and it's a balance. And you need that, because you also don't want to go too quickly in the other direction, because that could lead to certain instabilities too. So there needs to be this push and pull in society. And I think, at least in some Rosicrucian documents that I've read, and I know Rosicrucian's a big word because there's so many different lines and ways to interpret that. But, you know, they have this temple legend, one version of the temple legend of Hiram Abiff, that talks about the line of Cain and the line of Seth. And this kind of connects to what Manly Hall was saying, that the line of Cain is actually a half God, half human being line of people. And those are the craftspeople. Those are the builders. Those are the artists. Those are the intellectuals. Those are the philosophers. Those are the musicians. Those are the goldsmiths. Those are the scientists. Those are the astronomers. Those are the poets. You see? That's
Yeah.
the line of Cain, because they're not just that human animal piece, but they also have a piece that's more godlike within them. And because godlike means in the realm of mind, right? In some sense, like to be like God is to have this powerful mind. And so this Rosicrucian temple legend basically says that the line of Cain started craft masonry. That's where it came from, actually. And a lot of people might not like that, because it sounds like Cain's the bad guy. We don't want to be coming from the bad guy. He killed his brother Abel. But I think it's more complicated than that. And then the line of Seth is the people that are more faith, that don't need to think through things, don't need to hyperanalyze things, kind of go with the flow, follow the stream of life.
But they seem like the good guys.
Others around me. What's that?
They seem like the good guys in the story.
And
I've done some reading, and I've tried to figure out like what. I mean, I definitely identified more with the philosopher and all that, but then it almost seemed like, well, that's maybe not a good thing.
Well, you can go too far. I mean, everything in balance, right? I mean, you can get cuckoo with this stuff, So that's why I think you have to do something that's related to something physical to the body, like physical exercise. So not just be always in your mind and always reading books and sitting in a chair, but get up, go for a walk, get some fresh air, do some push-ups, run, go play soccer, whatever it may be. I think that when you do something physical that makes you sweat, it can ground you. So you're not so freaked out by all this stuff. Like it helps integrate, because you get your blood flowing, you get the chi flowing, any blockages in your body get moved. So it creates a kind of a coherence and a harmony and a balance in the system again. Because otherwise you can get in a rut.
Yeah.
So anyway, but so the line of Seth was related to water also, symbolically, and the line of Cain was related to fire, which makes sense when you think about it. Water's more cool, calm, receptive, not so active necessarily, right? And then the fire is like, hot and burning, and it takes over, and it's always processing things, right? So that's the fire of the mind. And in India, in Sanskrit, they call that tejas. And actually psychedelics, interestingly, increase tejas in the mind. Tejas is the fire of the mind. So if you take too many psychedelics, it can burn you out too. It can burn the mind out because it's too dry. It gets too dry and hot, and it could lead to certain other disorders. So line of fire is Cain, and then the line of water is Seth, metaphorically. And so the line of Cain are the thought leaders, the philosophers, whatever, the craftsmen, the artists, the Age of Enlightenment Renaissance type characters, right? If you want to think archetypal. And then the line of Seth would be the people of faith, and the people that accept and just go with the flow of life and don't really work too hard. It also can be divided into faith and works. So line of Seth is symbolic of people that put all their trust in God, and they believe that by faith we will have salvation. And then the line of Cain believe that no, it's not enough to just have faith. Faith is good, you need faith. But since we're all like crazy thinkers, it's not enough, right? You got to have more than just faith. You got to also understand, and you got to work hard, and you got to be good in this world, and you got to transform yourself to become a better person through like alchemical spiritual processes, so you can become better and have a better impact on not only yourself, but for the sake of the world. So you can actually be a shining light in this world instead of just a sleeping piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Does that make sense a little bit?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It helps clarify, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's the Rosicrucian temple legend, and you can find out a lot about that if you're interested in that version of a Rosicrucian temple legend. Rosicrucianism, I guess, is a big word, so we have to be careful about that. But you need to read Max Heindel's Freemasonry and Catholicism. That's an excellent one. And then another one I would recommend, it's a little more edgy, and some people might have issues with it, but Rudolf Steiner has a book called The Temple Legend, which is a collection of, 30, 40 lectures that he gave, talks, question and answer sessions or whatever, snippets from lectures that are all about whenever he talks about the temple legend, which he talked about multiple times. So they put it all into one book. So you can get all these weird and interesting nuances about this temple legend from him. And he was a Mason. He was a Freemason, actually. A lot of people don't know that, Rudolf Steiner. But he was also a Rosicrucian. Same with Manly Hall. Manly Hall was a Freemason and a Rosicrucian. I think his mom was a Rosicrucian.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so Masonry, man. During COVID.
Yeah.
And don't mind this prayer shawl. It's just very comfortable.
It goes with your hat.
It goes with a hat too. It matches the black and white.
Yeah. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I got a call coming up here at 12:30.
It's okay. You can tell me the truth, man. I'm just really fucking boring. And you just have more interesting things to do than talk to fucking me.
Well, this actually takes priority because it's placing a candidate, and it wasn't an easy one, man. I got it's a loan compliance SME or a commercial loan compliance SME something or other. My boss just came up with some bullshit title and said, "Hey, find this person," and strangely enough, I did. And,
are you doing recruitment?
Yeah, man. I do. I recruit.
didn't know that.
Mostly IT, though.
Mostly IT. Yeah, I recruit too, but not that much. I mean, I do it as one of many, many things that I have to do sometimes, but sometimes I do that.
That's all I do, man. I post jobs. I source for them. I make offers. I negotiate.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. But it's rewarding, man, in that, I feel like the candy man, I have all these jobs that I can give people.
It's nice to be able to help people out.
And to be able to do it, and then someone's like, yeah, and I've done a lot of internal for our office. Our office is in Herndon. It's a pretty small office, but I place 6 people in this small office. So I get to see these people, benefiting from, the work I did. And, it makes me feel good. It's a cool thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool, brother. All right, well, let me let you go and get back to work. Nice chatting with you. So what do you think? Do we have a show here, potentially?
I mean, look at it.
I think we do. It's shorter, too, because I feel like I've been going a little long on some of them. So I think once in a while to have a shorter one, 30, 40 minutes is nice.
Yeah. I mean, it can't hurt.
Yeah. So, all right,
building up the library.
It's a library, exactly. All right, thanks, man.
Yep. See you later.
Cheers.
See ya.